everybody, and welcome to the late night news at Go Indie Now. We're back, and it's a new year, and some same olds and some new stuff has popped up. And I'm Joe Compton,
And I'm Venessa Giunta.
and we have news for you. And we were just joking off of the air how when we do this show, all of a sudden news pops up that week, and we have a doozy of a top story for you.
Whew,
And so I'm going to let Venessa take it away.
awesome. All right, first, I want to give everybody a warning that this news story contains discussion of suicide. Please be warned and take any precautions you feel necessary for your own mental health. If you're struggling with depression or thoughts of self harm, please reach out to a mental health hotline. In the US, you can dial 988 for support. You can either call or text. So, in September 2020, 2 years ago, the daughter of an indie romance author named Susan Meachin announced to her Facebook fan group that Susan had taken her own life, and she ascribed the suicide to Meachin having been bullied in the book world. The expected outpouring of grief and love ensued. Her circle of author friends even crowdsourced talent and funding to complete Meachin's final book, which was to be a wedding gift for her daughter. That book was released on October 30th of that year. Over the next 2 years, so the last 2 years in our current time, the person posting to the group is Meachin's daughter, removed her ebooks and print books from retail platforms, except her audiobooks, which were, as she said, bound by a licensing agreement. Additionally, this person transferred ownership of the group to Meachin's assistant, who in November 2022, which is 2 months ago, or 3 months ago rather, she said that she could, well, 2 months ago actually, she said she could no longer keep it up, and she asked if anyone wanted to take it over. And this is when it gets weird. An author named T.N. Steele stepped up to take over the group. And I should mention that Susan Meachin was from East Tennessee. So T.N. Steele stepped up to take over the group. She said, quote, "I will overhaul it in hopes that it pleases you and Susan." Not long after that, T.N. Steele posted a Facebook status announcing that she would soon be returning to her real account and name. This week, on Tuesday, Susan Meachin posted in her Facebook group. She said, "I debated on how to do this a million times and still not sure if it's right or not. There's going to be tons of questions and a lot of people leaving the group, I'd guess, but my family did what they thought was best for me, and I can't fault them for it. I almost died again at my own hand, and they had to go through all that hell again. Returning to the ward," which was her Facebook group, "doesn't mean much, but I'm in a good place now, and I'm hoping to write again. Let the fun begin." To say this was a shock to her community was to put it mildly. Samantha Cole, who was another author who had considered Meachin a friend and helped in the aftermath of her supposed suicide, she posted screenshots of both posts and conversations, including a DM conversation with Meachin after this week's post, asking what was going on, to which Meachin's reply was, "Nothing. I simply want my life back. My family was in a bad place and did what they thought was best for me." Whew, y'all. So let's talk about some of the issues around this story. It's hit the national news outlets this like today, as of like yesterday and today, because of just the sheer outrageousness of it. There's a lot of titillation around, what happened. Some people are speculating about whether it's a PR stunt to jumpstart her writing career. I don't think that. Everyone's just simply astounded that she could do that. Like, not just fake her own death, but like fake her suicide when there are so many of us who have lost people to that.
Yeah.
And she's going to have a host of legal issues, I think, especially now that it's hit the national news because of the crowdsourcing and crowdfunding. That's fraud, right?
Yeah, and she's going to have a bevy of lawsuits that are going to challenge her character, and that's going to be really harrowing for the next couple of years for her. She may never be able to write again with the amount of court dates she's going to probably have.
That's definitely something that could happen.
Yeah.
And I think that, one of the things that kind of really struck me is that, her daughter, which could have been her daughter at the time or could have been her, we don't know, um, said that the whole reason was because she was bullied in the book community. And like, there can be some toxic stuff
Yeah.
happening, happening in any kind of community, not just
Yeah.
the book world, but and so, there's been a lot of drama in the romance community already, with Arden.
Seems like every time around Valentine's Day we get a story that something weird has happened in
Yeah.
the romance
Yeah.
community.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, the science fiction fantasy fandom community has their issues, that like we all, because we're just all groups of human beings, right? And human beings have issues. But man, I think that the just sheer audacity of this, that she thinks she could just come back and be like, well, I'm back, I'm
Yeah.
good, so let's just move forward. And it's, oh,
The awkwardness in which it was all implied is really just odd. I mean, you know, you know, it would have been something if her daughter had posted and said, "Look, I have a confession to make, and I need to tell you all something," and then maybe soften the blow by bringing her in and talking about the bullying before that happened. But to just awkwardly all of a sudden just post straight up the person that this involves, posting straight up, and then you know people didn't know what was going on, and
mhm,
they didn't take the time to explain it until it was much too late. Until they, I don't know if they felt like there would be no repercussions, or that there would be. I don't know what. I can't pretend to know what goes in somebody
right,
else's mind,
yeah.
but it's just odd the way that it was all handled and brought
Mhm.
forward.
And
And
so long, like
yeah,
2 years. Yeah, and I feel like, so one of the articles I read, I heard about this on Wednesday. So like,
hmm,
because I sent you that message about it,
yeah,
and it was before the news agencies got it, and I had done some research then, and everything. But one of the articles that came out recently in the last, I don't know, 36 hours or so, said that it felt very much like the biggest internet flounce. When
mm,
somebody gets upset on the internet, they're like, well, I'm going to leave. And they make this big production of leaving, and then they
yeah,
come back, right? Like,
yeah,
that's internet flouncing, right? And honestly, that's the way it feels to me
yeah,
too. It feels very much like, oh, I'll show them. They'll feel really bad if I'm dead. And
yeah,
then, everybody did feel really bad, and, everybody did what they did. And then she decided she couldn't. I really think that TN Steele is probably her.
hmm,
And I really think that she didn't feel like she could make it with that. And she just didn't want to be dead anymore, you know?
yeah. Again, I don't know what goes on in people's heads
Yeah.
for this, but the awkward nature in which it was presented
Hmm.
really does bring more questions than it does answers. And in doing so, the thing that happens is you're setting yourself up. You have to face the consequences of your own actions,
Yes.
whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. You have to face them. You're going to end up facing them, and it's something if you were bullied off of Facebook, and you know but from what I've
You can
read,
feel remorse.
Facebook has no indication that she was bullied. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how reliable that is, but from what I've read, there's no like that she didn't report anything. She didn't
Mhm.
say anything to anybody about it. And whatever her family situation was that caused her to, you know, fake her own death to begin with, you know, that there's no. I mean, we can't speculate what that is either. I mean, something could have happened, and it could have been,
Right. It
you
it
know,
could have been, she absolutely could have attempted.
yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, I think that is absolutely within the realm of possibility. It's hard to know because you don't know whether you can trust what she says at
right,
all. But
right,
I would be I can happily give her the benefit of the doubt for that.
Right.
But
And now it looks more like a cover up than it does an actual, truth, and which there might be a lot of layers of truth into this,
sure.
but it looks like a cover up because of the way that they handled it, and that is the whole idea of this, is like the handling of it.
And there's
It
no
really.
remorse. She
I'm
has
sorry.
no remorse for that. She has no
Right.
remorse for the fact that she led people to believe that not only was she dead, but she had committed suicide, which is so hard for so many of us who have actually lost people or almost lost people or tried that ourselves, right? Or
Right.
had those thoughts ourselves. It's almost like it's a slap in the face, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Is
I'm
like,
sorry.
if I've lost 2 people in the last 3 years to suicide, and it's really tough. And I beat myself up about what could I have done differently to change that aspect and change that outcome, because I did have personal relationship with both of these folks. One of which I had a more deeper personal relationship with, but that doesn't matter. I mean, if could I have said something that would have made her day better, and that might have changed the whole thing. And that's what I think about when I think about my friend, and I say as much in the tribute you're all about to see, but uh, it's heartbreaking to me because we are treating suicide as the secondary aspect of this equation, because and the bullying too, we're kind of treating that with disrespect as well, because we did that whole the whole art book Angel article where they did the survey about how people feel bullied all the time, and that's real life statistics that matter, that should change our perspectives as humans, right? And
I mean, you can spend 5 minutes on Twitter and you can see it. You can
yeah,
just see it. It doesn't
yeah,
even matter what thread you're in, you can see it.
yeah, and that's sad. That's a really hard
Mhm.
thing to deal with when you lose somebody. And um I just don't know that I don't understand how she could be remorseless,
Right.
it doesn't make any sense to me. But again, I don't understand people,
Mhm.
you know and there is the other side of mental illness that might be in this equation.
Right.
You don't know that either, and I'm not
Right.
saying that there is. I'm not speculating. I'm just saying that there could be a
Right.
factor in this
Yeah.
as well. And so that's really tough when I'm sitting here, having this week found out that I lost somebody who I thought was pretty special.
Mhm.
So I mean, just to be clear, my friend Summer is somebody I knew and I've had conversations with, and we've had moments with. I mean, but you know, she was so freaking talented, and to see somebody talented like that go away, it's really tough. It's heartbreaking. It was tough. It was very tough, and it happened so suddenly. So for me, it happened so suddenly, but because I just found out. But you know, anyway, so.
Well, I feel like it's probably a good time to do that.
Yeah. So let's bring back to the positive, or not the positive, but the
Oh,
the light of
yeah.
suicide, and what it means, and
And
this is
tribute.
how it affects people. This is how it affected me, for somebody who I felt is going to be very missed in my mind. So, um, here's my tribute to my friend Summer. Hello, everybody. Joe Compton here. We're starting our shows this weekend a little differently than we would normally start them. And that is because recently I found out that I had lost a friend and someone very valuable to our indie community. She was a writer, director, producer, mini showrunner, as she says in our first interview in 2019. Uh, and creator of some wonderful, wonderful comedic and beautiful LGBTQ, beautiful, just amazing, amazing miniseries. And that's my friend Summer Chastant. Summer, she was just so amazing. The first time that I met her, like I said, was at Slam Dance in 2019. She was premiering for the Episodes program her latest web series called Rage Room, which is about a woman who is trying to find herself, and she happens upon a rage room and finds this therapeutic, interesting business opportunity and takes it on.
Meditation is everywhere.
I give you everything.
Interesting shop you opened here. I fucked one guy and he filed for divorce.
Tear it down.
Everyone needs to break shit.
I won't ever go back.
It's a wonderful series. It encapsulates a lot of Summer's personality and who she was, as does her long-running series, Namaste Bitches, which is season 1 and season 2 out there now on YouTube. We tried to connect like a couple times during the week, had some problems. She was sick, and then I had some other obligations, and then I missed a top opportunity to be there. I had screwed up my times and something happened. So then we ran into each other and we decided on the fly, let's get this done since we've got time. The only thing is that we didn't schedule anything with Slam Dance. And oftentimes what happens at Slam Dance is there's this one hallway where you can they have their poster board up, and you can do they have their banners up and everything, and you could do interviews along that route. It's toward the back end of the hotel area in which Slam Dance takes place, and then there's another offshoot room, and then there's a podcasting room, all of which were being occupied at the moment. So then we run down. There's an in-between screening period in which one of the rooms had a lull period. So we run in there, we set it up, we get permission to go ahead and do that. And then we set it up and we do this wonderful, wonderful 25-minute interview. And then at the end of that, we're talking and we're just hanging out. We realize that we've run into the next screening. We've been sitting there talking for so long about stuff. So we decided to stay at the next screening. So she and I stay and we watch the movie. And then she's asked me afterwards what I was doing afterwards. Was I going to another movie? And I told her, yeah, I had this other screening in the next screening room. And she goes, oh, what is that? And she goes, oh, I'm going to come with you. I'm like, okay. So we go and we do that. It was a short films session. It was a block of short films. And we sat in the back of the room and we were laughing and there was some really good ones there and having a lot of fun. And then afterwards, like a day or two later, we had coffee and we were talking about the films that we saw and everything like that, and her experience and my experience. It had been my second time being there and her first. And, off and on, we just connected. And then Namaste Bitches season 2 came out and we were getting prepared to do another interview. And sadly, it just didn't work out our schedules. And then she was gone. And it was really just a complete and utter shock to me. She did a lot for me. She introduced me to a couple other filmmakers that I hadn't met before that she had met, and told them how wonderful an interviewer I was. She actually told a few people at CineQuest about me, and they reached out to me and had me do CineQuest that year. And so she did so many little cool things for me that were just amazing. And I never got to properly thank her or say, how much that meant. So, Summer, really, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you did, all of the person that you were. I mean, you were really an amazing person. Uh, I'm very, very fortunate and very lucky in this world to do what I do and meet the people I meet, but I'm beyond lucky to have met you and for you to have touched me and done something for me. I mean, that means everything to me. And I'm really, really sorry that I couldn't help you. And I implore anybody out there who's an artist to please, please understand that you don't have to suffer for your art. There is professional help out there. There is available places you can go. And I found one particular place that I want to mention in Human Vations. They actually have a program for artists who are feeling suicidal, who have mental health issues. And I put the link in the description of this show so that you all can please do reach out to them if you are feeling like there's no other alternative, that there's no hope, because there is. And I want to see you around. I want to see you on Going Now. I want to promote everything you're doing and talk about what you do as an artist. So let's keep that going. And I thank you for allowing me this moment to honor my friend and say goodbye to a soul that I'll miss tremendously. So to Summer, thank you.
Is it kind of rewarding having done all this on your own? Do you feel like as an indie, you have this sense of, accomplishment because you actually created something and put it out there?
I actually do. Thanks for asking that question. I feel like I've learned so much, and because I'm actually technically like a micro showrunner on these things, I hate to throw that word out because I'm not, doing
Right.
Breaking Bad or something, but yeah, and so I feel like I get to see every element of the production from start to finish, and then being an actor in it, and then I get to choose the takes, and really, I actually pick the music, the temp music, and then have somebody come in, and then they bring their own ideas. So, yeah, I love every element of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I made myself cry over myself.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah. Yeah,
lovely tribute.
Oh, thank you. Thank you to her. I mean, she was so amazing. And yeah, I just I'm gonna miss the opportunity to talk to her about the incredibly fun things that she was doing. And
But you know what? She'll be guiding you.
yeah,
She's still there. She'll be guiding you.
yeah, there's a lot to that for sure. And
I'm like, Anita's all, we're all crying. Damn you, Joe, damn you.
Sorry, everybody.
You put makeup on for this.
Sorry. And also we want to mention that this is a Lifeline suicide crisis hotline. It's available 24/7, 365. Please utilize it if you need to. Like I said, I want to see you all around. I love you all, and I want you all to be safe. And I know life's hard and things happen, and mental health is a real issue, and it's a real I don't want to say problem because that's not the right word, but it's a real thing, and a lot of people go through it, and that shouldn't be dismissed. And things like the story we just did, you know, shouldn't be held in that regard at all with terms of suicidal thoughts and mental health. That is one thing that I really want to hammer home for myself, from my own personal perspective, because I think that I'm dealing with real stuff right now, and she was my friend. I talked to her and hung out with her, uh, but I can't imagine what her family's going through. And they did a wonderful, wonderful tribute, which I put the link to as well. So if you haven't read that, please go check that out. It's a beautiful, beautiful tribute to her that her family wrote. And so I'm thinking of them, and I'm with them and their thoughts, and how much they would love to have her back. Just for one minute to tell her that they love her. And that is why what we talked about earlier is so disappointing in a lot of ways for me.
It's offensive, really.
Yeah.
You get right down to it.
Yeah.
Whew,
And
no.
anyway, but yeah,
All the
thank
heavy
you.
stuff today, y'all. All the heavy stuff.
Well, we'll get a little bit lighter, but not much. I mean, we are going. This show is kind of, the theme is it that we're doing the year in review of 2022 with stories that are relevantly happening right now as well. Um, but Publisher Weekly declared this the year of the indies, and whatever you think of that, well, yeah.
It's
Woohoo!
so nice of them to notice us.
Right. Thanks for the back page.
We haven't been around here for a decade and a half now.
But in 2022, the pandemic did raise a lot of issues, and paper and product costs caused massive shortages and delays in the first part of 2022. They were prevalent through most of 2021, but they did continue into 2022. And though they did improve, price increases for printing, paper, shipping eased a little bit. It was the highest inflation in decades. Production costs still remained above the 2019 levels, and squeezing profit margins even thinner. The printing capacity crunch also eased a bit, albeit for a good reason. Printers received fewer orders as book sales declined.
Not a good reason.
Yeah, albeit for not a good reason. Sorry. I misread that. For not a good reason, because printers received fewer orders and book sales did decline. When it began, consumers moved more towards spending online because we were shut in. There was no other choice. There was no other alternative. And brick and mortar stores were suffering badly. There was a really great shift in our culture, though, as indie comic book creators kind of rallied around that and helped keep comic book stores alive. And then, we all shifted our focus to Amazon and ads and doing online things. And so when big orders came in, including books, for over the past few years, Amazon placed big orders and tried to keep as much stock as possible. Then consumers started returning to stores when they were able to get out again, and in greater numbers in 2022. And increases in online spending slowed down, and that hit Amazon hard. Oh, boo-hoo for Amazon. To work down the amount of book inventory it accumulated, Amazon drastically cut back on new orders, which hurts the indie author for sure. And it placed over that summer. And some of the publishers reporting sales decline as deep as 70% with Amazon. That's insane. That's like my indie numbers. HarperCollins cited the plunge in orders from Amazon as a key reason why their sales quarter ended in September 30th that fell down to 11%. Dramatic decline of orders from Amazon, along with the news that Amazon had cut some jobs in its books group, which we'll get to in a moment. It's these companies, and their treating of labor led to industry members wondering if the company was losing interest in the book market. Speculation that they firmly denied. Publishers did report orders from the e-tailer improved in the early fall. And what we did see that was on the positive was that indie bookstores came back and people clamored for more and more to read. So indie bookstores saw an 11% growth in 2022.
That's the 11% that HarperCollins lost.
Right. Yeah, the place that they don't market to, right?
Yeah.
And indie book, unfortunately, the indie comic stores didn't have the same success. They declined 3% overall. I mean, 3% is within the margin of error, but that does, with what I just said, how the community rallied around it, that does present a problem for comics bookstores for sure in the future, I think. But I think with comic book stores, I've always found this, they're kind of cyclical and they kind of come around again. Yeah. So I think that comics are always going to be something that, you know, we all remember from our youth and new youth is discovering. So I think comics are going to rebound in a big way. I think 2023 might be the year of the indie comic, actually. And many authors that I talked to during Multiverse and beyond have been reporting record sales at events and bookstores, book festivals, the likes of which they had never seen before. One indie author told me, and I won't mention their name, they had to reorder 4 times in 2022, and each was bigger than the last one they reordered, and they sold out almost nearly every time. That's pretty awesome. And that's a good news because, I mean, it's like one of those things, right, where you look at it and you go, well, let me jump on that and see how I could do. But then you saturate the market again and then it comes back
down. I think the reason that particular part of the platform went up is because conventions came back and book festivals came back and stuff like that, and people just wanted to be in these spaces with each other again and with authors and artists and all of that. And so I think that we saw a lot more. I think that's why we saw a rise in in-person book sales.
Yeah. And Tiffany says she's always wanted to start a comic. I said, go for it, Tiffany. Now's the time. You just need an artist. I can introduce you to a few artists.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think I do think that the indie comics going to see a resurgence because we're all tired of fucking Marvel and DC movies. They're just not getting any better. They're getting worse, and we want to go back to where they the original text they came from. And I think there's a need for that for sure. So, along those lines, though, we as a society were challenged. Our First Amendment rights and freedom to read were prevalent in 2022. In the spring, the American Library Association's Office for Intellectual Freedom reported it tracked 729 challenges to library, school, and university materials, resulting in more than 1,597 individual book challenges and removals. Most targeted books were about Black or LGBTQ people. I don't like that, how that was phrased. In 2020, only 273 books were challenged. So it went up full 500%.
They already got rid of 1,500. So
challenges to books intensified in the election year, and some conservative groups saw the issue as a winning one. To combat censorship issues, various groups and individuals began to organize in ways and stand up for their freedom to read. Employee activism, which first began to emerge in earnest as a reaction to pandemic concerns, as well as the murder of George Floyd, continued into 2022. And that's where we step into the story that Miss Venessa Giunta is about to tell you all.
It has nothing to do with George Floyd, though.
No.
It didn't.
But it does have to do with employee activism.
Yes, employee activism. So this is just a reminder that HarperCollins workers are still on strike after over 40 days with no response from the company, which is employing temporary workers as editors, designers, sales and marketing associates, and other positions. HarperCollins authors are banding together and refusing to work with these temporary editors. On social media, you can see authors posting about standing with HarperCollins employees. This may not seem as if it's an important topic for indies because we don't generally have much to do with the big five publishers. But the primary reason Amazon created KDP and Lulu, Smashwords, etc., even before Amazon, is because there was a demand for the ability to publish books. Why? Because traditional publishing is now a big corporate game. HarperCollins is owned by News Corp, which is one of Rupert Murdoch's companies. For corporations, the only important performance vector is money. This is why traditional publishing is the way it is, and it's why indies exist in the way we do now. In order for traditional companies to be forced to change their culture, employees must have a voice, and that is what this strike does. In the end, we're all authors, whether indie or traditional or hybrid, and we need to support our structures, our editors, our graphic designers, our PR people, and they all deserve to be paid a wage that is commensurate to what their jobs require. So I am completely pulling for the HarperCollins people, for real. So if you, I was just going to talk about that.
All right.
If you would like to contribute, check that hashtag on social media, and you can give support online, in person, financial support to help the workers out.
There you go. And yeah, I agree. It's important. I think the one way it does affect indies is if you're an indie, I don't know, if you're a freelance editor or something to that effect, and HarperCollins contacts you, you know, just bear in mind that the fruit you're picking from the tree is half ripe. It's not.
Well, they haven't called me, so
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't work for them anyway. Although I have seen some ads.
Yeah,
I have seen some ads on LinkedIn and stuff.
Yeah, they don't have shame, and they don't have
I mean,
remorse.
it's a Rupert Murdoch company.
Yeah,
so you know,
it's exactly what you said. It's all about the dollar deal and profiting and moving forward.
And this is why authors who write somewhere outside the box, whether it's just on the edge of the box or it's way the hell out the box, this is why we, like, none of us can get an inroad in traditional publishing. It's because it's they want the same thing. They want it different, but they want it the same, you know? And so publishing companies no longer invest in author vision, right? In the vision of an author. They invest in where they feel like they can make the most money, which is why marketing departments are the ones that actually decide whether the company's going to buy a book or not the editors. Yeah. The editors have to sell the marketing guys on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all of this, this is all what, like, all of the struggle that the employees who are on strike they represent all of the problems that we have with traditional publishing. So go workers.
Yeah, and you know, we'll talk about HarperCollins on the other side of this because there is a rumor going around that is going to be involved with what we're going to talk about on the other side. But let's have some motivation. We need to be lifted up.
I would love to see CL Cannon right now.
Yeah, there you go. I can't think of a better person to lift us up. Can you?
No. Perfect.
All right, everybody. Here's your marketing tip for this.
Is my favorite.
Hey guys, CL Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you your monthly marketing tip. And it is a brand new year. And today I want to talk to you about something that you might be overlooking when it comes to your marketing. So we all know that time changes like literally everything. Trends, they come and they go. Companies start and they either fail or they succeed. Audience interest even changes depending on what's going on in our lives. Like right now, dystopia is not really doing that great, and I can't really think of a reason why, can you? So our marketing also has to be refreshed from time to time to stay relevant and stay effective. So there's no better time than the present to update your marketing game. Is your website up to date? Probably not. Are all your latest books listed there, and are they easy to find? Are your covers up to date, or have they changed since the last time you updated your information? Are they the original homemade ones that you made like 5 years ago? Definitely make sure you change that. Have you logged into your Linktree or your link in bio or whatever service that you use for that? Or does it still have info from 3 years ago on it? Because there's chances are that there's something on there that you should probably take off and something you should update or something you should add. What about your book back matter? Do you have all the correct links in all of your books, or do you just have it in a few? Or are there like outdated links there that you need to update? Make sure you update that information. Do all your links work? That's a really huge one. If you have broken links, that's going to lead to nowhere, really, because they're broken. But that's going to get some people that would have normally bought your book to go, oh, it's not worth my time. What about your marketing images? Are you using the same old ones that you've used for years? Because if so, your audience might be getting tired of those. So it might be time to either make some new ones yourself if you have that skill, or to hire someone out to make new ones that are relevant, have new material on them, and that will resonate with people who are buying your books today. How about your newsletter landing page? Is it still relevant? Is your reader magnet that's on offer the best fit for the books that you're currently writing, or could it be adjusted to be better? What about your welcome sequence for your newsletter? Is it full of outdated information, expired links, books that you don't even have for sale anymore? Not looking at myself. Make sure that you clean that up. Do you have ads that you haven't touched in months or possibly years that you could tweak to get better results? Do that. Do that tweaking, because doing this routine maintenance stuff, even just little sprucing from time to time, is the best way to ensure that you can be found, that you can be contacted, and that you can become someone's next favorite author without any obstacles getting in the way. The harder a reader has to work to follow you, to find your book, any of that stuff, the less likely they are to keep trying. Humans are lazy. If it's not right there for us, we're most likely not going to go searching for it unless it just really wowed us. The best thing to do to kind of handle this is to sit down and make a list of everything that you might need to check and go through them one by one as you can, because I know not everyone can do it all in one day. Just do it as you can, and I promise the more that you update and the more that you innovate, the better your sales are going to be. So that's my short and sweet marketing tip for this month. It's a new year. It's time to spruce things up. I hope this helps you. If you need any help with this, or if you have any questions or any marketing advice that you need, I am always available. You can contact me at info@fiction-atlas.com, or you can message me on social media. Always happy to help. I hope you guys have a lovely start of 2023, and I will see you next time.
Oh,
She called a lot of us out, and we'll get to that in a second. But I just want to be clear. I just want to make this declaration right now. Where the video cuts off when she says bye, she cut it off. He stopped it at that point. I did not cut her off. I promise you, all right? So before I see any comments about you cut her off at bye, I'm just telling you, I can show you the raw footage.
that's the video you got.
I tried to stretch it as far as I could. It didn't work. So, yeah. We had some comments about the previous stuff we were talking about. They don't want different. They just want to repackage the same. They want it to be different enough to say it is a new story, but never been told. And they want the same money-selling objects, right? That's right. And Venessa breaking the fourth wall, and see how calling her out. You felt very threatened in this.
I really did. I was like, oh, that's me. That's me. Oh,
I'm working on updating covers. Yeah, I'm filling on the hot seat with this marketing tip. And then Rebecca got here just in time for the tweaking. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about being called out. I mean, I don't really even have a website for my author page. I have Goni now, but stretch it's so she says.
You just put one of the drag race queens in there.
Next time I'm going to do that.
That's awesome.
Let that be a lesson to you, Courtney. I know you're going to watch this.
I don't know, but like I feel like I would be totally cool with having one of the drag queens doing my goodbye. I'd be like, yes.
That'd be, I have a feeling that in February's I'm going to get bye from her.
That'll be my favorite.
All right. Yeah, everybody, got everybody going.
It just occurred to me that February, we're going to talk about February because I'm going to be in Portugal.
Yeah, we'll need to talk about it. I just have to
good job, Tiffany. Yeah. Excellent.
I have an author page on Facebook and everywhere, but I don't have like a website because 2 books
doesn't matter. You should have a website.
Whatever.
No, whatever me.
I have so much time to create my own author website and go website and this and that and this.
Well, gosh, you don't have any friends or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, not me. Yeah. I don't have time.
Yeah. I don't want to do that to any of my.
I just got done saying that my author website has not been updated in years. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want you to update my.
Yeah,
website.
You really don't. Rebecca has you on the website.
Yeah. And yes, I'm on Three Fairies website as well. Yes, because that's where my books are. Everybody, go get them while you can. All right. So we're moving back into the year of 2022 review, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the trial of the year, the 3-week trial, which began on August 2nd, that highlighted the divide in the industry between those who favored the acquisition of Penguin Random House and Simon Schuster. Still want to say Random Houses, but
Random Penguin House.
Random Penguin House. Yeah, that's what I mean. And those against it. And the trial went on. It became clear that the government had no momentum. That, to no surprise, when Judge Florence Pan ruled in late October to block the acquisition. Then the events that unfolded, you want to talk about crazy. Quickly after her ruling, just before Thanksgiving, SNS parent company Paramount Global did not renew its purchase agreement with Random Penguin House. Making it impossible for Random Penguin House to appeal the decision. In early December, Random Penguin House global CEO Marcus Doyle announced he was stepping down at the end of 2022. Yeah, you think you bundled that a little bit? Maybe. Just a little bit, I mean, Stephen King thinks so, right?
Uncle Steve thinks so.
And just a little bit, right, Steve? Just a little bit?
He's like, I don't know.
But yeah, so it was all about the dollar, and the mentions I read are all like, what is the new CEO going to be like? What are they going to do? How are they going to change things? You know what? I really don't care. I think it's going to be the same bullshit it's always been, and we're just gonna deal with them. They're kind of like, they're kind of like road signs in a little respect, where they're kind of suggestible. They're not actual like held up laws,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, but at least that's how I view roads.
This has been such a depressing episode.
Well, let's lift our spirits a little bit, because Draft2Digital and Smashwords are making me eat my words a little bit.
Yeah,
because
they are.
Phase 1 is complete, everybody.
Huzzah!
Yes, the merger phase 1 is complete. Who knows how many phases there are? I haven't explained the phase aspect of it until now. I mean, they've given a little bit of phases, but they're kind of taking this like the Marvel universe and waiting till an apt time to announce that there's a new phase. Welcome. But they distributed. You can distribute now in phase 1. You can distribute directly from Draft2Digital from Smashwords, so you can put your stuff on Draft2Digital and it will go on Smashwords, where you have the industry's highest royalties. That is true. Brand recognition by the millions. Okay, I'll beseech that a little bit, but that's all right. Data to bestseller lists.
That's good.
Yeah, but I mean
if
when
that's
James
the goal.
Patterson has already bought his permanent seat at number 1.
Okay, yeah. But still, if that's a goal of yours, that's something to take into consideration.
Yes, it does help. It does help. And the one thing they didn't mention in here, which I think is really sad that they're not mentioning, because it's the one thing that I think that Smashwords has over everybody, is they have the best way to connect to the library system of any of these distributors.
Yeah.
And Draft2Digital,
they have Overdrive, don't they?
Yeah, they've always had it. They've had it from the beginning, and it is the one thing that I think they have going for them over everybody else that makes them a viable contender in this thing, And
they really
Draft2Digital. That. What's that?
They really should highlight that.
I don't know why they're not, but author-friendly refund policy and no exclusivity. Okay, second verse, same as the first. Indeed, my Draft2Digital books are now officially on Smashwords. Woohoo! But so phase 1 is complete. Yay for Draft2Digital and Smashwords for doing something. I appreciate that. I was really expecting to get like a nasty email from Mark Cooker saying, "Say we did something," but I did not. So.
I mean, he would be justified in saying
he would be. Yes, I have been very,
as
very
the time has dragged on.
Yes,
you have been more and more bitchy about it.
I have been, yes. And because I want it to be good. I want it to be something. I really do. I think I guess I think globally more than most people think, but I really think that they do have a chance to challenge the top spot if they really put their effort behind it. But I don't think that's their aim. So, I mean, and that's fine. That's who they are, but this is a big deal for indies. And, it got very little press in mainstream. And so, I don't know what to tell these guys, I don't know what to say. I mean, phase 2 looks like, okay, phase 1 was pretty beefy. That was a pretty big, bold move. Is everybody who's now on Draft2Digital is now on Smashwords. Great. Hopefully they promote that. Hopefully they knew that. Hopefully they knew that.
I imagine that also includes like all the perks like coupons and things like that. Because isn't that one of the
that's phase 2. You're stepping ahead of me a little bit there, Vanessa.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was going to go to the comments first a little bit here and, say that indeed my Draft2Digital books are now on Smashwords, and then Draft2Digital has libraries, so maybe that's why they didn't mention it. Libraries aren't new to D2D authors.
Oh yeah, that's probably why they didn't mention it, because it was originally. I think.
Daniel says you'll have to look into Smashwords.
I think that when we're like this announcement was more about what's new for people, and Anita's right. It's not new. It should definitely be one of their selling points when they're just talking about themselves as a company.
And to their credit, they did. Mark mentioned that in the in the call that they did. Right. He mentioned that was one of their strongest assets, and the Draft2Digital agreed. But it is, it's just it's the lack of them saying stuff about themselves that really bothers me. It's that I mean. It's just that nice neighborly.
But is it the lack of pimping themselves, or is it the lack of transparency in how they're going to go about making these changes?
Well, there is that aspect of it too, but for me, it's not even the lack of talking about themselves. It's the arrogance of them, of the lack of talking about themselves. in the idea that they think they're bigger news than they're really presenting as in the public, right?
I don't know them, so I don't know how they think at all. It
just feels like that. That's what it feels.
Right, but like maybe we're not mind readers.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like you might be like grabbing onto that a little bit.
Yeah,
Rebecca, woo, she call you out.
You're right. Absolutely.
You cannot talk about people not pimping themselves, my friend.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely. Me and Mark, me and Smashwords and Draft2Digital are in the same boat in that respect.
So
Maybe
wait,
that's
so
why
you-
I feel so deeply about it. Is like,
Because you feel guilty about yourself.
yeah, maybe there might be that underlying
There's
psychology
some
there.
self-flagellation going on there.
Yeah, that's true. And
Good call.
feel free,
Rebecca.
Draft2Digital and Smashwords to call me out. I'm happy to take it. I'll
Oh, they
take
don't
it.
have to.
I
Rebecca
dish it.
totally did.
Yeah,
Good
but
job,
but look, the bottom line is that they're moving in a direction, and that's the good news about this.
It is
And
good
phase
news.
2 is going to include the Smashwords coupons and early access to new releases, which is two things that, again, Smashwords are very well known for. And they said the merger is still unfolding, and there's a lot coming that we know will change the game, or we are told we should know that will change the game. And much of that comes from the influence that Draft2Digital gains simply by having greater volume. They have 264,000 authors, 930,000 ebooks, and 20,000 print books, and hundreds of retailers and thousands of libraries in hundreds of countries worldwide, and also growing. And their print books are rapidly growing, they say, as well. So they're giving, by this merger, they're giving authors a greater reach worldwide, more stores, more readers than they've ever had before, and it's going to continue, and giving you greater control of your publishing career by building more tools, partnering with retailers and libraries, and expanding the menu of options. They have authors on staff, so they understand the business from the inside out. That's what they say. So, that's all good to hear. We will see how it goes, and we'll keep moving forward. I mean, they're making steps, and I gotta say,
And Anita's calling you out in the comments too.
Have you been watching the monthly videos? They pimp themselves all the time. Yeah, to who though? How many views does that thing have to author? It's just to authors who are already there. They have 264,000 authors. So if they have more than 264,000 views on that video, okay. But if it's like 277, if that's all they have on the video, then who's watching at the 264,000 authors they already have, right? So that's how I feel about that. But I guilty dog barks a lot. You're right, absolutely. Yeah. And I am available on Smashwords. Yes.
Ooh. I think they're doing an okay job. Like they're rolling it out, and they said in the call last year that it was going to take a while.
They did.
And it's been a year.
Yeah.
And they've made.
I'm impatient. That's
you
my
are
problem.
Really impatient. You're like a kid, like 3 weeks before Christmas, going, "Why isn't it tomorrow?"
I want Amazon to go down now.
So,
that's what I want. But yeah,
I just want them to not. I want Amazon to not be so draconian, and so in order for that to happen, there needs to be valid, competition.
That's it. That's it. That's the thing that we want to see. We want to see. I
don't necessarily want Amazon to go away. I just want them to stop being Amazon.
Right. We want to see them challenged to the point where they have to make the changes they have to make to survive.
Yes, exactly. That is what I want to see.
And when they do that, they have proven that they know what they're doing and how to do it, and it's beneficial to all of us.
Let me also push back a little bit against what you were saying about, they're not talking about themselves enough. They're not, putting themselves out there enough. It's also possible that they are waiting until they have the infrastructure to actually do that.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I'll give them credit for that. Yeah, that could be
because you don't want to talk out of school. If you don't have it ready.
Right. Yeah, and I just I remember trying to get the word out about Smashwords when I first started. I wanted that to be where I was. I wanted to not have to deal with Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. Because I've been through corporate tills and I don't like it. I just don't. And I could see the inherent problems with being one of 6 million other books out there on Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. But nobody wanted to give Smashwords a try. It was too difficult to navigate for people outside of the realm of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I think Draft2Digital could really help them, because I think Draft2Digital made some steps to
super user friendly. Yeah.
Curtail that a bit. And I don't know if there's a reluctancy there for that aspect of it, and that's what I'm worried about. So
Karina agrees with you.
Love Draft2Digital, hate Smashwords.
Yeah. I found Smashwords because I played around with Smashwords when I was first indie publishing, and it was just too clunky. It was too, it was too like 1996. What I mean? Like, hey guys, come on now. Roll into the 21st century with us.
Yeah. So I mean, there's your 2022. 2023 could very well be the year of AI, and I think that's maybe where we are going to be talking a lot more about in the coming months. I think that is going to be stories about AI that are coming out that are, it's small, right? And the meat grinder killed Smashwords thing. It's a real small sample size right now. I will mention that on Sundays, This Week in Indies, they're going to talk about it and kind of give you an insight into how they feel. So some authors will be talking about it. So join us for that this Sunday, the season premiere of This Week in Indies at noon Eastern. But then and the state of AI, and our authors are thinking along the lines of that I'm thinking that's the next thing. And we're at the ground floor of this. So audiobooks and hardback books and all that were the old thing. And if you're not into that now, you might as well just get into it and forget about it, because it's old news. AI is going to be the new thing, and we'll see how it progresses and how it changes things. But if it does,
I agree with Karina. AI is scary.
It can be, yes.
It's threatening. It can be
threatening. That's a great word for it. Yes, I agree with that. I think that there is some threat to it.
And we will definitely be having shows about this in the coming months.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some news out there. Yeah. There's already some news.
There already is, yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to have some more news about it. And like I said, I just feel like it's a little so here it is. I am, I'm bashing Draft2Digital and Smashwords, and yet here I am doing the same thing on our news program, which is I think it's not time to talk about it just yet. So I'm holding off on it until we have some meat to talk about. So, maybe, I'll just let AI audiobooks on their site. Yeah.
AI written or AI narrated? Because there's also there's so many aspects to the AI thing that affect us as authors, or have the potential to affect us as authors.
Yeah.
So.
And this also, this might be where I'm kind of with Amazon at the moment. The Amazon is kind of filtering that kind of stuff right now. So
AI narrated, she said.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes in the coming months. Y'all can come Sunday at noon and have conversations about that. We would love to have you.
That's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, I think it is too. Yeah, there's a lot of great authors in there, and to talk about it. And you know what else is going to be another great show? This one right here on Monday night, everybody, at 9 p.m. Eastern.
What?
We have a conversation and a cocktail, and we have really two amazing women in this business who are going to talk, and they're going to drink. I just already know they're going to drink.
Oh, yeah.
So I've seen both of them drink. I can tell you they're both going to drink. And that is Venessa Giunta and Rachel Brune. You want to talk a little bit about this, Venessa, for us?
Yeah, it's going to be I'm so excited to be sitting down with her, because she is like one of my favorite people ever. Anyway, Rachel Brune, she is the publisher at Crone Girls Press, which specializes in anthologies of varying horror subgenres. And she also is active. Well, she's reserves, so she's military, former active, currently reserved. She also is the acquiring editor for the new horror imprint at Falstaff Books called Dread. And she's an author in her own right. Like, she's just got her hands in everything. And so we're going to kick back a couple drinks and chit chat. Y'all get to hear it. So we were making a joke. We had a co-working session on the Writing Tribe today, and I made the joke that, the only time she and I really get to chit chat, just the two of us, is when we're getting we're getting ready before one of the co-workings that she hosts, because she uses my Zoom. So we're on together. We're and now everybody's going to be able to experience that. Oh yes, and she is a practitioner of the dark textile arts. Seriously, she weaves, she spins her own whatever you spin and make when you spin the thing.
Yeah, I'm always amazed when we're on co-working and she's doing that, and it's
right. I'm just so yeah. Yes. So
two of my favorite people on this planet. I'm real excited about being.
I'm so excited. I love her so much.
So everybody go check that out. That's going to be Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Here, I'll do the graphic one more time. Yes. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Pacific. There you go. And if you're in Europe or whatever, just deal with it. Come on at 2 in the morning.
Figure it out. Yeah. And props to Karina for the awesome graphic. So,
thank you, Miss Karina Cantus, who does all my graphics. And like I said, Sunday morning at the noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, 9 a.m. Pacific, and whatever time it is where David Green is going to be performing at, and wherever Karina is going to be at. I'm sure it's deep into the night. Hosted by the one and only Madeline Dale. I will also be doing, if you missed the tribute to Summer earlier, I'll be doing a similar tribute on that show as well. I have a different story to tell, but it is the same idea. I'll be crying in that one as well. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Shut up.
But, I also want to mention that in the next coming weeks, we will be debuting quite a few. I've been doing them for the last week, and into this week, into the next, we'll be doing quite a few Slam Dance interviews, as we always do at this time of year. I will not be in attendance at Park City this year, but I am there in spirit. And in that note, here's a little teaser for anybody who wants to know what's going to be happening this year at Slam Dance. Yeah, you can go to slamdance.com if you want. If you're in the Utah area, I don't know why you wouldn't go to that. But if you're not in the Utah area, it is online from the 23rd to the 29th, and it's $8, and you can sample over 400 films and a lot of great stuff. They do what's called the Unstoppable program, which highlights people with disabilities, films but made by people with disabilities on them. They have incredible narrative documentaries, features, all kinds of different stuff. I guarantee you, if you're looking for a film, you'll find it there at Slamdance. They have romance, they have crime, they have sci-fi, they have everything you could possibly ask for there on that.
There were so many little snippets that looked so intriguing.
Yes, it is. They do a good job with that trailer. I think Peter himself cut that. Peter is the founder of Slam Dance, and I think he himself cut that.
I kept going.
I want that. It's like they know how to shiny toy you, right? So
welcome, JD. So glad you could make it.
As we shut down the show.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention, if you missed the first part of this show, we did talk about what's going on in our community with a certain author who has, come back after a couple years after they had said that they committed, their family said they committed suicide and left us, and they came back, and there was a whole fiasco with that. We talked about it. That was the first 20 minutes of our show. But within that was a very, very special tribute to my friend Summer, who we lost a few weeks ago. And I wanted to give you all a taste of how talented this woman is. These are the trailers to both seasons of Namaste, Bitches. Namaste, Bitches. And I think if you don't check this show out, the link is there to go check it out. Season 1, season 2. They're literally 5-minute long episodes. There's only 8 in each season. So that's what, an hour and a half of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm already gonna go watch it.
I think everybody will enjoy it. Everybody in this chat I know will enjoy this show for sure. So, and everybody out there, please do check it out. Here is Namaste, Bitches.
Welcome back to LA.
This is the perfect space for me to manifest the vision of this new chapter of my life.
I take teacher recommendations from our sister studios in New York very seriously.
Hey, I'm Gina.
And these are my senior instructors, Jesse and Ben. I think you're going to fit in beautifully with our happy little family.
What they want me to do there isn't even yoga.
That is not pranayama.
How many students signed up?
2 signed up online and Seth makes 3.
Shit.
LA is filled with teachers who can pack a class and would kill for your time slots.
How many followers do you have?
She has like a gazillion Instagram followers.
How many Instagram followers do you have?
You have the most certifications, but you're not the most popular.
How long do you think it'll be before I can do a handstand?
Potentially never.
You can't call me anymore after you screw up and you don't have anywhere to go.
I only practice with Jesse now. What the hell was that?
You get fired for that?
Teaching yoga is about projecting an image. It's not about being truthful.
No fucking way.
Bitch, you're going down.
Lying corporate yoga slut.
Are you high?
You are totally fucked.
I need a break from all these yoga freaks.
Come on, use your Ujjayi breath.
Thanks for letting me crash at your place.
You ready for me to get you on the schedule?
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to What a Dough.
Your aura is in my personal space. I want you to mentor her.
Deal. I can't sleep.
I contacted an expert. She says you have a mood disorder.
But no mind-altering substances on the meds.
Try this.
What is it?
GHB.
Aunt Beth would fire you for this if she finds out.
You taught my morning class word for word. Gina, I saw what you were looking at earlier.
Maybe if you did the research, you'd finally fill that gaping hole of lack of purpose in your life.
She's turning against us.
If these things aren't stopped, cults can happen.
Shit. The wellness world is officially shook. What just happened?
So
that was really good.
Yeah, go check it out, everybody. I think you guys will really, really love it. I wish Rage Room was still out there. It used to be on Reverie, the Reverie TV site, but I tried looking for it today and I couldn't find it. It's a wonderful series, so hopefully it comes back out there. But she did one season of that, and that really showcased her talent tremendous. This show does too. I mean, she's the star of the show, and she wrote all the episodes, and I mean, she's just so immensely talented. And I think it's in the Tiffany. It's in the link. The link is there in the description. So it says season 1, season 2. Basically, on her YouTube page, you'll see the playlists for both seasons. So definitely go check that out. Well, that'll do it for the news for this night and this month. And we got so much stuff going on. And I want to thank my co-host Venessa for being here as always. And you know, what time is it, Venessa?
It's always time to go indie now.
That it is. And I didn't.